Have you received a DOB violation, but you're unsure about how to go about resolving it? Well, in this video, I'm going to be walking you through the types of DOB violations that exist in the City of New York and the exact steps that you can take as a homeowner in order to resolve them. Hey there, my name is Chichi Aguoji. I'm a New York-based realtor with a focus on helping seniors and retirees sell their homes and find the best locations to retire. Receiving a DOB violation from the City of New York can be incredibly stressful, especially if it's your first time. So what I'm going to do in this video is walk you through the exact steps that you can take to remove these violations from your record, as well as share with you some more information about these types of violations. Now, although there are three main types of violations that you can receive from the City of New York, this video is only going to be discussing violations received from the Department of Buildings. Building code violations typically relate to construction, building maintenance, or safety regulations as it relates to a particular building. And New York City categorizes building code violations into three main categories called classes. The classes are based on a hierarchy, and they're based on the severity of the violation and the potential danger to the public safety that the violation poses. So the three different violations, the three different categories of building code violations in the City of New York include Class A violations, Class B violations, and Class C violations. Class A violations are the most severe violations that you can get in the City of New York. So these violations are said to pose an immediate danger to public safety or public health. Examples of some Class A violations include lack of heat, hot water in the home, any kind of structural instability that might cause someone to fall or slip, the presence of hazardous materials within the home, and or the lack of proper fire safety measures. Class A violations are said to need to be resolved immediately. As soon as you receive them, the timeline is immediate for you to rectify the violation and resolve it. Now, below Class A violations, you have your Class B violations, which are less severe than your Class A violations. So Class B violations, while they're still thought to pose a threat to public health and public safety, they are provided with a timeline to be able to resolve the violation. Some examples of Class B violations include inadequate ventilation, inadequate lighting, minor electrical or minor plumbing issues. Again, it's still posed as a threat to public safety, but it's not seen as being an immediate threat to public safety. And next and finally, we have Class C violations, which are thought of as being the least severe type of DOB violations. These typically have more to do with aesthetic issues, so you might see some issues related to Class C violations include peeling paint or broken windows or even a leak that's visible within the household. So property owners are also given a timeline or a time frame to be able to rectify and resolve Class C violations, and it's a much longer time frame than Class A or Class B violations. So now that we have a better understanding of the types of violations or the classes of violations that you can receive from the city, let's talk about what you can do to resolve these violations if you were to receive one. So there are really 5 main steps that you're going to want to take if you receive a DOB violation in order to get this removed from your record. The first thing you want to do is pretty obvious, but you want to read the violation notice, and you want to read it carefully to look for 3 main things. Okay, the first thing you want to look for is the class of the violation, which we've discussed earlier in the video, as well as the description of the violation, because the description is going to tell you exactly what needs to be resolved. So that's the first thing. The second thing you want to look for is the corrective action that the city provides for you in order to resolve this violation. The notice is going to tell you exactly what needs to be done in order for you to correct the issue that the city is highlighting is wrong with your home. And then the final thing you want to look for is the deadline that the city provides. It's incredibly important that you know how much time you have and be able to gauge whether or not you're going to be able to correct this violation in that timeline. So if you're not, you can present and ask for an extension. So the top 3 things you're looking for in your notice is the violation class in the description to understand exactly how severe this violation is. And again, the second thing you want to look for is the corrective action that the city is providing, telling you what you need to do to correct the violation you just received. And the final thing you're looking for is the deadline that the city provides for you to be able to correct this action. That's step number 1. Step number 2 requires you to make a decision. So are you someone who's going to correct this action in an active way? Are you going to be the one who's going to be overseeing contractors, overseeing licensed professionals while they fix whatever needs to be fixed in your home? Or are you someone who wants to hire someone to take care of all of this for you? So there's 2 ways that you can go about doing this, right? But either way, you're going to have to make a decision and decide how you're going to go about fixing and rectifying this violation. So the 2 options include you're going to do it yourself. You're going to hire licensed professionals. You're going to hire contractors to come in, assess the situation, and you'll oversee these contractors, these licensed professionals, as they correct the situation. That's option number 1. Option number 2 is you can hire someone called an expediter. Now, an expediter is an individual who can come and sort of expedite this entire process for you. They'll take your notice, they'll understand the violation that's involved, they'll be the ones to hire the necessary parties, they'll oversee everything on their own, you'll pay them the cost, they'll be the ones that take care of everything as it relates to the violation on your behalf. So option A, you do it yourself. Option B, you hire an expediter. Either way, you have to make that decision. Now, the third step you're going to want to do is request the inspection. So after you have rectified the violation or the expediter has rectified the violation, the city has to now come back and inspect the home to ensure that the corrective action was actually followed through with. They want to make sure that the violation is no longer a violation, and so they have to inspect the home in order for them to do so. So you're going to call the city up, or you're going to email the city and let them know, hey, this violation that I received, it's been corrected. You're going to schedule an inspection. The city is going to send out an inspector to confirm that the violation has in fact been corrected. Now, this step number 4 is optional because not every violation will have to do this step. But essentially, you're going to want to pay the fines associated with the violation. Every violation doesn't have a fine, a monetary fine that's associated with it. If your violation has one, this is the time where you're going to want to pay the fines so that it could be completely removed from your record. If you do not have a fine associated with your violation, you're just going to want to make sure that when the inspector comes, they confirm the violation has in fact been corrected, and then you can see it online that the violation has been resolved. The final thing you want to do in this 5-step process when you're correcting a DOB violation, you want to make sure you keep proper records, as many records as possible. You want to keep receipts of the repairs that you made. You want to keep emails and any correspondence that you make with the city, with the inspectors, with the Department of Buildings, because you never know what might happen in the future or how things fall through the cracks. So you just want to have a paper trail of everything that you've done to ensure that you corrected this violation and that it should be removed from your records. Now, if you received a DOB violation and you need some assistance figuring out how to resolve it and how to remove it from your record as a homeowner, feel free to reach out to me. I would be happy to assist you. All right, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something new, and I hope to see you in the next one.